Hi, today I'm going to show you the best method for learning how to aim in pool or snooker or any other cue sport for that matter. It's a tried and trusted and traditional method that has been used for forever, and it will be used long after you and I have left for the great pool table in the sky. So let's get into it. So first of all, I would say that learning to aim is actually a beginner skill. If you've played this game with any sort of kind of semi-regularity, let's say you've played 20 times in the space of a 6-month period, then you probably know how to aim already. So if you're missing balls and you're looking for something to stop you missing, then you've gone down the wrong rabbit hole, I'm afraid. Aiming is not the issue, and it's more likely that it's something to do with technique that's stopping you from potting balls. Because believe it or not, the reason that you miss, I miss, or the best players in the world miss isn't because they don't know where to aim. It's because they can't make the cue ball go where they're actually aiming. And that comes down to technique. So if you're more advanced than a beginner, then you might want to check out one of my videos on technique. I'll link to one of them up there right now. So if you are a beginner and you are actually learning to aim for the first time, then my 3-step process is about as simple as it gets, and it's going to be the most efficient method for getting you to aim properly. Steps 1 and 3, anyone can actually do today. If you've never picked up a cue before, you will be able to do steps 1 and 3 as soon as you finish watching this video. Step 2 is the one that's a little bit complicated, but not by much. So let's get into them. So step 1, you actually want to work out the contact point on the cue ball that you're aiming at. So let's take the 8 ball as our first example. So let's say we want to pot it in this pocket. To work out the contact point, it's really straightforward. What you do is you walk around it so that you're in a straight line with the pocket and the ball. So imagine a straight line coming from that pocket right through the center of the ball. This part of the ball, which is closest to me, is the contact point. That's where you want to hit to pot that ball. And it never really changes. People will argue that cut and just throw is something that you should consider when playing shots like this. If it is, it's very, very minimal. But for the argument of a beginner, someone who's just learning to play the game, an argument of saying that's the contact point, that is it. That's step 1 complete. Draw a straight line from the pocket right through the ball to yourself. That there is the contact point. So with step 1 complete, I just want to jump ahead to step 3 at the moment. So step 1, you found that contact point on the object ball, and it's important to stay back from it just now. We're going to jump to step 3, which is lining yourself up for the cue ball to contact the object ball. So stay back from it, and you need to walk around to the cue ball. Now it's important to still remain back from the table, because this is actually a really good vantage point for putting a lot of information up here for your brain to do the hard work for you and process all of this. So stay back from the table, walk around to the cue ball. Now you're still back from it, and you should now be in almost a line with where you want the cue ball to go to make contact with the object ball. There's a little trick here for beginners. When you see someone playing shots, just bending down and potting them, it looks really easy. But there's actually a lot of mechanics going on when someone's bending down to play a shot. So I just want to give you a little step routine just to help with this first part. So step 1, we find the contact point, we're walking around to the cue ball, we're back from the cue ball, and we can still see the point that we want to contact. Now, if you're right-handed, I want you to hold the cue in your right hand. If you're left-handed, just do the opposite here. Hold it at the point in the butt that you would normally hold it. Now, point that cue in the direction that you want it to go. And lay it on the table if you want, or you can point it straight at it. Now we want to step into the shot. And this step 3 is about getting your alignment correct. Now, just to make it really simple, if you're right-handed, then I want you to take a half step with your right foot, and it should be pointing to about 2 o'clock. Take a full step with your left foot, and it's about 12 o'clock. It's on the same line as your cue. your left leg is bent and your right leg is straight. And if you do that, then you can connect the dots. Everything's going in a line and you should be able to pot that object ball. Half step, full step, into the shot and pot. Just like that. So that's steps 1 and 3 covered. Step 2 is the one that's a little bit tricky, and I'll set this up and we'll cover it now. So step 1, we found the contact point on the object ball. Step 3, we've got our alignment correct to make contact with the right part of the object ball. Now the variable in aiming, so we said earlier that the contact point remains the same. You know, if you don't allow for cut and just throw, then that contact point is where you're always going to aim. So if I've got this shot here, I'm aiming it there. If I move down, the contact point is there. That contact point remains the same. The variable is a cue ball. So what part of the cue ball is making contact with that contact point? Now, this is where people use methods like the ghost ball. So if I've got the cue ball here, I'm aiming at a full ball contact on my imaginary ghost ball cue ball. I don't teach the ghost ball. I also, if you've come to this video because you're missing and you are a beginner, I just want you to do one thing for me. For this step, I just want you to forget everything that you think that you know already. Because when I do videos like this, I get a lot of comments going, yeah, but where are you aiming that cue ball? Are you aiming the middle of the cue ball at the outside edge of the object ball? Are you aiming aligned at the reflection on the ball? I want you just to forget all of that. I'm not doing anything like that. And I guarantee you, all the professionals that I've played with, the professional that coach me, the professionals that I've played with in both snooker and pool, they don't do any of that. They like to make this game as easy as possible. And this is how easy it needs to be. So forget lines, forget ghost balls. What we're going to do is work out what part of the cue ball needs to contact that contact point. Now, there's no secret formula to this. There's nothing that's going to take you from absolute beginner one day to pool god the next. It is all about learning where that ball contacts it, and that comes through practice. So if I want to pot that 8 ball, then I'm imagining that's the contact point of the 8 ball. All I'm doing is thinking the first part of the cue ball that contacts the object ball, that's where I need to hit. So there, it's that part of the cue ball. If it's here, it's this part. If I've got a straight shot, it's that part that's closest to the pocket. Now, this is how people have learned to aim since the dawn of time. So let's say we've got this 8 ball again. If I'm playing for the first time and I try to pot it and I hit it too thick, like that, then I know the next time I need to hit it thinner. And that's how you learn to aim. By missing, it's not a bad thing, because you've given your brain some information to know what to do the next time. So now I know I hit that too thick, I now need to hit it thinner. So if I come to the table the next time and hit it thinner and miss, guess what? I've given myself more information to process this. So the next time I'm faced with this shot, I know that I need to hit it there to pop it. And the way to do that is through practice. There's a saying that if you do anything for 10,000 hours, you'll become an expert at it. And that's exactly what every single player who has played pool has done. They've practiced. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a shortcut to get you there quicker, because there's something in pool that's called core angles. And if you can learn these quickly, then it will help your overall game. So let me get the 8 ball back out and we'll work on our core angles now, and I'll give you a little routine to practice them. So with the magic of television or YouTube, we're set back up, and this is actually the routine that I want you to try. So when I said core angles, what I mean is, you may have heard these terms before. It's a full ball contact on the object ball to pot it. It's a 3/4 ball, a half ball, or a quarter ball cut. Now, those are your core ones. And let's say, for example, we've got this shot here. That is a full ball contact to pot that ball. If we know that that is a full ball contact, we can pot this, right? If we know that's a full ball contact, we also know that playing this is a full ball contact. So trying to pot that ball in there. So we know where to aim that ball. Now, if the cue ball's here, we're probably not going to miss that. Seems an easy shot. The aiming process for that shot is the exact same, but you're more likely to miss this shot because it's over a longer distance. There's more chance for your technique to go wrong in this shot. And that's what I mean, that it tends to be technique is the reason that we miss. And if you don't believe me, just think about your favourite player. I bet you've seen them miss a really easy shot. I mean, did they miss it because they didn't know where to aim, or is it because they couldn't make the cue ball go where they actually wanted it to? And I'm not talking about somebody who's got a bad technique. Even somebody with the best technique in the world, it will fail them at certain points. There will be some little thing comes into play, and especially if you're nervous. You can have a really good technique 99% of the time, but if you're nervous when you're playing a game, things tend to tighten up, and that's when things can go wrong. So, back to this. We want to learn those core angles. So what I want you to do is, if you're an absolute beginner, just set the line up like this. Now, I want you to complete it by hitting every ball full ball to pot it. So let's start with this one. So if we start here, full ball contact. Now lift the cue ball, put it there, full ball contact. Lift it again, put it there. Now you're learning full ball contact all over the table and into different pockets. So if we put that 8 ball in there, we can now leave ourselves a straight full ball shot in there and just move yourself down the table. If you want to do that and then switch over to that side of the table, that's fine. You can do that because if I'm playing these shots, I've done a video on this if you care to look at it. I'm right eye dominant. So if I'm playing these shots, my alignment or my sighting is slightly different here than if I was on the mirror image over that side of the table. So play them on both sides if you want. Next up, we'll look at a 3/4 ball cut. So leave yourselves, that looks like about 3/4 balls there. So do your process. So step 1, we've found the contact point. Step 2, we're imagining where we need to hit the cue ball onto the object ball. Now this might help. So if we recognize that as a 3/4 ball cut, then what we can think about is when the cue ball comes into contact with the object ball, it's covering about 3/4 of the object ball. So that might help you. So step 1, step back from the pocket and the ball. That's our contact point. Walk around to it. We're imagining 3/4 ball cut here. We're now going to step into the shot and connect those 2 points. So we've pointed our cue, half step, full step, we're into it, 3/4 ball cut, just like that. Pick the cue ball up, move it round, 3/4 ball cut again, step into it, just like this. Now, do that for all those balls, and then guess what? We're on to our half ball cut. So we'll go here, I think. We'll pot this in the middle. So if you can pot this half ball cut in the middle, then you can also pot this half ball cut into that pocket because you're aiming in the exact same way. That one in the middle is obviously a lot simpler than that. It's because of technique. So half ball cuts. So we'll do our find the contact point, walk around to the cue ball, step into it, half ball cut, just like that. Once you complete all of these with half ball cuts, then you come on to 1/4 ball cuts. So let's look at this one, for example. Find the contact point, We walk around to it. I've got a radiator in my way here. And we try and make contact with that to pot it. Oh dear, the radiator got the best of me. I'll leave the mistake in because you love it when I miss shots. So that's all there is to it. So just play the lineup like that. Play your full ball, your 3/4 ball, half ball, and quarter ball. And you know what? It won't take you long to learn those core angles. And then no matter where the cue ball is on the table, you'll understand those angles. You'll understand where to aim. The hard part is making the cue ball go where you want it to. And I've done loads of videos on technique, so please check out any one of them. In fact, here's one just now that'll help you out.